Greetings to everyone. Welcome home once again. Once home, always home. We know that you have other homes, but we also recognize that Gallaudet is indeed a home to each and every one of you. Today is a very special day for you, class of 1963. We also have a few other alumni who will be part of our celebration today, besides those in the class of 1963. Gallaudet University Emeriti Club honors you with this induction ceremony for all that you have done and hopefully will continue to do for Gallaudet University, and for that we thank you. I know that we all have one thing in common, and that's our love for Gallaudet. Would you not all agree with me? We all very much cherish this place because it's more than a university to us. It is our home. But today is also a special day for me, just as much as it is for you, because I have performed this ceremony here at Gallaudet University as Gallaudet's 10th president. And today is my fourth and almost completing my fourth year here. As of today, there are 364 medallions that have been awarded to alumni. This is a very special moment for me, and I feel very honored to have this honor and experiencing these very important milestones. I am more than pleased to be here with you today and honor your classes, honoring you for your loyalty and your dedication to Gallaudet University. I would like to step back in time and share with you some of the interesting things that I've learned as we compare things as they were then and today. Rocco DeVito has little bits of trivia that he shared with you, and I as well have some trivia that I'd like to share with you. Enrollment statistics for the class of 1948. Any guesses as to how many students were enrolled in 1948? John, you should know, right? How many students were in the class of 1948 with you? 5 students? Oh no, there were more than 5 students. So guesses as to the total number? There were 185 students who were enrolled in the class of 1948. And that was the largest to date. In the class of 1963, any guesses as to how many students were enrolled? 300, some are saying, 99, 500. The actual number, 492. Now, any guesses as to how many students we currently have enrolled? Someone's just about got it right. 1,753 students are currently enrolled in the university, and you can see our ever-growing population of students. And next, another class statistics. Class of 1948, the entering class came in. How many graduated? 185 came in, and 19 graduated. The class of 1963, 89 students entered, and how many graduated? Someone's saying 66. 61 students graduated. Good job at guessing. Now let's talk a little bit about fees. How much did it cost to come here back in the day? In 1948, any guesses as to the cost of tuition? Nothing? Oh, no. This says $700 a year to be enrolled as a student here back in 1948. And that included tuition, room, board, and laundry. Laundry services. Are you telling me somebody laundered your clothes? So in 1963, any guesses as to the cost for a student to come here? Someone is saying $900. That's right, 900. And today, any guesses as the tuition ever skyrocketing as it is? $21,677. But I have to say, that doesn't include laundry service fees. Students have to do the laundry themselves these days. How about the number of majors that were offered back in 1948? How many majors were there? No majors. That's right. Good answer. There were no majors. But in 1963, number of majors? 19 majors, right, in 1963. Now compare that to today. We have a total of 37 undergraduate majors, 40 graduate school majors, and 8 doctoral programs. So once again, an ever-growing number of selections for students. Now let's talk a little bit about the buildings on campus. Back in 1943, and even before that, or 53 rather, how many buildings were here on campus? Does anybody remember? There were 23 buildings on campus. Now compare that today, where we have 44 buildings on campus. There's space throughout campus. Some are being renovated. Some of the older buildings are still under construction, renovation projects. And as well, there's new buildings, like our new dormitory, the LLRH6, a brand new dorm that's just been constructed. In 1948, who was the President of the United States who signed your diplomas or certificates? That's right, Harry S. Truman. Fantastic. I have a wonderful story about him, but that's for another time. And in 1963, who was president? JFK. None other than JFK. And this was, of course, just before he was assassinated. He passed away in 1963. So who signs the diplomas for students these days? President Barack Obama. We have the privilege of signing the diplomas for each of our students together. And that has been the case that the United States President has signed our students' diplomas as far back as Abraham Lincoln. And by the way, we are collecting diplomas for each of the graduating classes throughout the years. Those are being given to the archives for safekeeping. Now, there were several clubs and activities, like there were the Men's Athletic Association, the Women's Athletic Association, drama, movie clubs, literary society, photography clubs. Do you remember the Colhahan Club? They were religious organizations, fraternities and sororities and Greek organizations. Well, now we have over 30 different clubs and organizations that are offered to our students, and those numbers continue to grow. I'm looking to our provost, Dr. Weiner, for confirmation of that. There also were 4 Greek organizations: Kappa Gamma, Alpha Sigma Pi, Kappa Zeta, and Delta Epsilon in 1963. Since that time, we've had the establishment of 4 others: Kappa Sigma, Delta Sigma, Delta Zeta, and Alpha Sigma Theta. And now let's talk sports. There were intercollegiate sports. About the 1950s, there were a number of different sports, intercollegiate sports that were offered. How many of you played field hockey? Because that was offered in that year. There was also basketball and swimming and volleyball. And those were exclusively for the women who were enrolled on campus. The men had 5 sporting opportunities. And now, because of Title IX, that requires that we have equal number of sporting engagements for both men and women. So we have 8 different kinds of athletic opportunities for men and 8 for women. You know, last, as I look around and see proof here that the liberal arts education at this university, in fact, does have a significant impact on the civic, professional, and deaf organizations. You've become leaders in each of these areas. You have set standards, and quite high standards for our students of today. Wear your special Gallaudet University Alumni Emeriti Club medallion throughout this weekend, so we can recognize you as our most honored class. Today, we celebrate, and today, on behalf of Gallaudet University, we say thank you. Thank you for representing your alma mater so very well. Thanks to all of you.
Hi again. I'm delighted to see you here for this special recognition, to receive the medallion. I will never forget in 2004 when I sat back there watching both of my parents receive their medallions and watching all of the stories and memories that they shared. I do want to thank a special individual in Gallaudet University for establishing the Gallaudet University Alumni Emeriti Club program, which is also involved and scheduled during homecoming weekend. We have GUAA and Gallaudet University collaborating on these efforts with this program, and that even strengthens the collaboration that we have here. So I wanted to thank Gallaudet University for doing so. So there's more than 18,000 alumni across the nation that come together with the GUAA board to offer these congratulations for your 50 plus years of supporting and being loyal and loyal services to your alma mater. I would like to explain a little bit about the medallion and what it looks like. The front face is a replica of the historic tower clock, flanked by the words Alumni Emeriti Club, and it has some stars that represent the nation's original states. On the back, it has Gallaudet's seal that was engraved back in 1864, with the stars around it again, representing the 13 nations' original states. You will receive a medallion, treasure it, and if there's any Gallaudet event that you attend, wherever you may be, whatever chapter you may be, whether it's a National Association for the Deaf's breakfast, please wear it proudly. I have to also explain, last summer I went to Oregon, and I went to OAD, the Oregon Association for the Deaf's meeting, and they had a GUAA chapter event that evening, and I happened to be in town for a workshop, and I thought I would take the opportunity to meet the local alumni. And the day before that event, someone asked me if they're allowed to wear the medallion at the next evening event. And I said, of course. And the next evening, 3 people came in with their medallions, and I was touched and that they were wearing them. So I do want to congratulate all of you today for receiving yours.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alumni Emeriti, and of course, we don't have technology, so if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to be looking to my notes here. I am inspired by your presence here as you celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Gallaudet University Alumni Emeriti Club induction ceremony. I wish I could graduate in this room 2 years from now. We, the students, want to thank you for being excellent role models. You have encouraged and influenced us to consider Gallaudet as our primary choice for our post-secondary education. Thank you for continuing to bring Gallaudet's legacy down to young generations like us. We also want to thank you for your ongoing support. We want to congratulate you for all that you've done in receiving this fine honor. Make sure that you meet the current Gallaudet students and share your stories with us during homecoming weekend. Thanks and congratulations.
It's my pleasure to recommend to you from the university I have the honor of presenting the Gallaudet alumni members, so please rise. They have met all of the requirements of becoming members of the Alumni Emeriti Club, which is a very distinguished group, Mr. President. This is the last time that they'll be in this room. With your wonderful support, this room will become a museum. And from the wonderful support of you and the First Lady, this will be a different room next year. It will be a museum. So this will be your last presentation here. So it's great, with great pleasure. They have met all the requirements to receive the medallion. So I hand it off to you, Mr. President.
It is my great honor to recognize the alumni members of 50 years or more with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities there to be members of the Gallaudet University Alumni Emeriti Club. Congratulations to you all.
Okay. Please be seated. We will have our board member representative, Chair Ben Sukup could not be here today, so we have Jim McFadden here from 1962.
Class of 62, that's right.
In place of Dr. Benjamin Sukup. So I will say your name and your year, and then please come up to receive your medallion.
My bowling buddy. Congratulations, John.
Class of 1948, Helen L. Sewell from Tennessee.
I appreciate the shade.
Class of 1959, Bernice Singleton Hoare from E. Gluckman from Florida.
Thank you.
From the class of 1963, Sandra Barnes Smith from Texas. Class of 1963, Chuck R. Bumai. Class of 1963, Catherine L. Burris Rotheth.
In his honor, I'm wearing this today.
Class of 1963, Robert B. Corbett, otherwise known as Bob. Class of 1963, Harold C. Duell from Florida. Class of 1963, Rocco J. DeVito from Virginia. Class of 1963, Race F. Drake from Virginia. Class of 1963, Nelius L. Elliott from California. Class of 1963, Priscilla A. Flanagan John from Maryland. Oh, I'm sorry. We have Muriel A. Friedman Hirsch. From class of 1963, Jacqueline A. Gluckman Novitt from Florida. Class of 1963, Patrick A. Grabo from New York. Class of 1963, Kathleen M. Hard-Dorr from Florida. Class of 1963, Ella P. Healy from Georgia. Class of 1963, Rosella C. Hayden Weddle from Maryland. Class of 1963, Justin F. Lambert from Virginia. Class of 1963, Diane L. Munzo. Class of 1963, Shirley A. Nelson Simonson from Minnesota. Class of 1963, Elizabeth H. O'Brien, New York. Class of 1963, Andrea M. Panella Haas. Class of 1963, James L. Pedersen, Connecticut. Class of 1963, Donald L. Rosenjek, California. Class of 1963, Lawrence A. Schronenberg, Washington. Class of 1963, Alan S. Stein. Class of 1963, Donna V. Waite Rout from Virginia. Class of 1963, Douglas Watson. Class of 1963, Edward F. Wilk from Maryland. Last but not least,
That's right.
David L. Wood from Oregon, class of. Now it is my pleasure to announce that you now official members of the fine, prestigious alumni group, Gallaudet University Alumni Emeriti Club. Congratulations.
I'm a little concerned I might need my glasses, so I brought them here with me. Good afternoon, everyone. President Hurwitz, Dr. Weiner, members of the board, GUAA members, alumni, and friends. I'm here on behalf of our class of 63, some of whom are present, and there are others who are unable to be with us for various reasons and due to various circumstances. And as well, those who have long since departed us. That includes my first college roommate. If he were still alive today, he would be about 95 years old. His name is Frank Mayer, and he came from Canada. He epitomized the spirit that it's never too late to seek a college education and to appreciate the opportunity to get the best education possible. He and I came to the university together as freshman students. And we were allowed to be roommates together, and we were at the mercy of poor Dean Walter Krug, the Dean of Men at that time, who put us together as roommate, and we turned out to be fine roommates. He was perhaps the only student on campus who had a car. At that time, we were not permitted to have cars parked on campus. So he had the car parked on 8th Street. I was so fortunate to have him as my roommate because we hated Sunday evening grub here on campus, and we would always go off campus to get a bite to eat. Who could ever forget that $3.50 T-bone steak dinner that people had at Bonat's? You know, he worked at the Washington Post at that time, and somehow he found time to do that as well as for his studies. Frank never had a free ride all his life. There was no VR in Canada to pay for his education, so he had to work 4 years while he was studying here to afford the tuition. If you're curious to know why it was that Frank came to Gallaudet so late in his life, I can only surmise that he decided to come to Gallaudet in order to gain more knowledge and expand his horizons. From his limited travels as a printer, everyone spoke so highly of Gallaudet, and it was for that reason he decided to come to the university as well. It was interesting for me to see a man like him so very motivated to study Greek mythology and art history and philosophy. It seemed unlikely, but nonetheless who he was. And I'm sure he greatly benefited in the long run from those studies. I can remember he was a child of the Great Depression. So he had to leave home at an early age and begin working before many of you were probably even born, before most of us were born at least. He was here for the Gallaudet 25th class reunion with his oldest daughter, his third child, Is there any need for proof beyond this that it's never too late for anything if we consider his legacy? And she was 6 years old when she came with him for that 25-year class reunion. After graduation, he didn't necessarily have the opportunity to finish everything that he had sought out to do. But he was here to have an impact and make an impact on our lives. I believe that we all contribute to this country in so very many ways, as professors, administrators, religious leaders, government employees, or simply as leaders of deaf organizations, be it local or national organizations. You know, sometimes we need to stop and consider our lives and how they would perhaps be different if not for the opportunities afforded to us with the college education that we received while students here. And so, you know, the experience of coming to college in and of itself gave us the confidence we needed to go out and strike on our own after leaving here. We do appreciate the professors, the mentors, the coaches, all of those individuals who impacted our lives while here. Some of them were very good role models to us and left with us a lasting impression on our lives. I just noticed in a recent issue of Gallaudet Today, 360 students graduated this past spring from the university. I did a little investigating on my own in terms of what the enrollment was back in our time, and I appreciate Dr. Hurwitz for telling us that number being 92. I thought we had maybe 380 students enrolled when we were here, but I guess there were more students now than we had in our day. However, we represent ourselves favorably in the world, how we face challenges, whatever it was we did in terms of how we competed in athletic events and how we challenged other colleges and universities. Even when they had larger enrollments, we were always very proud of who we were. And in closing, we are indeed very proud and honored to be receiving these medallions today. As we have just received them, we wish to thank Gallaudet University for this recognition, the recognition that's been given to the class of 1963. And with that,
come home to Gallaudet. Come home to Gallaudet, you student or old grad. Of 50 years or more, remember all you had. Look back to days spent here. Those days that saw you grow. Your body grow, your spirit grow, and you grow to reach your goal or pursue new ones as you know. Honor your everlasting heritage. Come home to Gallaudet, your alma mater true. Relive your days of yore. Recall the buff and blue. Stroll on around the green and marvel at the sights. The blend of old and new bring visual delights. As well as memories that never fade.